What's up, YouTube? Today we got your boy.
What's up, YouTube? My name is Mpilo Cairo Mube.
And we have the host of Triple M Studios. What's up, YouTube? We got a men's conference, as you can see. Okay, to begin the podcast, man, we're gonna shop a young game. How to talk up your boy. I'm gonna start. Remember that 5K app already, bro?
Of course. Yeah. You want that back?
Nah, I'm good. You can keep it, dog.
Right.
Can I keep the... Remember when you bought me a Lambo last week?
Yeah, you also...
Yeah, that Lambo, bro. Yeah.
I don't think I can bring that back, bro. Do you think?
That's cool, bro.
Man, you're a great guy, bro. This is a great guy, bro. What? For real?
Should I turn off my hotspot or like...
Nah, please, we need it.
You guys need it, right?
We need
bro.
it. We need it.
Yeah.
You're the real birthday boy.
You're the real birthday.
Birthday
Sad.
boy. Okay, today's podcast will be focused on the experience of influencing. So sit back and chill. We'll be back with the full segment. And we are back. So, Jins, what is your favorite? Who is your favorite influencer? Or
Apart from myself.
Okay, buddy.
Son is a tough one.
Who's
I
my
won't
favorite
lie.
influencer? Thing is, I don't follow up on influencers like that. So, no, not enough to pick a favorite. I swear,
Yeah,
I don't follow on.
I think there's a
influencers like
lot. There's genuinely a lot of influencers
Just give me a name. Give me a
that
name.
inspire me, yeah, but like, ish.
Okay. Like, in terms of what do you like in terms of content that influencers like bring? I know you like the gym type stuff. So, like, do you like people who do gym? When you like fashion?
A little bit of everything. I think as long as they have something to offer, which can actually help you as a person, and they're actually influencing you in a good way, then yeah, I F with that.
Okay, give us a name for the viewers, bro. Someone they can look up to.
I think I can't take one
Okay.
because I'm into very different, like very
A lot of
various types of
niches,
content.
yeah.
You know, I'm into gym content, I'm into humorous content, fashion content, that kind of stuff.
I think right now for me would be Mark Nicholas. His content is really like it's building.
Okay.
Barakako builders.
Type.
His content is really
Type.
yeah.
Type. Bilo, give us a name, bro.
Except me, like name anyone.
Yeah.
You weren't in mine, my
Yeah.
dog.
Oh.
There's a gym influencer called Noel Dezo.
No,
He's
these.
like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like a bodybuilder type of, he does inspirational content as well.
Yeah. By
I
the
think
way,
he's solid.
Bilo's a scorer, guys. He's a scorer.
Ish.
Yeah, English, you know.
Time.
You know what I'm saying?
Time.
You know what I'm saying?
Relax.
He takes
Yeah.
after me actually.
Chill,
Okay,
dog,
chill. Taking it too far.
I'll roll up your sleeve.
Okay, let's jump right in. Okay. Do you think influencing today is more about impact or just attention?
100% attention.
I don't think it's 100% attention. I really think it depends on the influencer itself, because there are influencers that create content and they use it as a form of self-expression, and they really don't care whether whether people are watching it or people are engaging. They're actually doing it for them because they love doing it. And then there's people who just do it for attention. You can tell that their content isn't really them. It's them trying to seem palatable to, the audience or the media.
Okay, but if you look at it this way, I think I'd look at being an influencer of impact as you trying to inspire something
Yeah.
good in,
Yeah.
not just youth, but the general society.
That's what I'm saying, Velore. Most people's platforms are built on teaching, educating, and actually influencing people in a good way and inspiring them. I like maybe Ghost Louie. It's more about attention. He does things for the numbers, So there are those people who actually do it for impact.
Okay, but then if you're looking at content realistically,
Mm.
who's going to succeed more in the industry of entertainment? Are you gonna succeed for inspiring young men to grow as young men, or are you gonna succeed more for I don't know, selling truth or
Okay.
inspiring the fast life?
For me, impact versus attention, right? Type of thing. I feel like what sells more is what people go for. Attentive content sells more. Impact really doesn't sell more, especially in South Africa.
Mm.
We can see with South African influencers, we're selling like they have the same content, right? Because it's attentive. It's actually, it's bringing in the numbers.
Mm.
So I feel like mostly people are doing it because Balambi the dog niggas are hungry. People are
Right, right,
hungry.
right,
Yeah, they
right.
wanna. So attentive content will sell. The impact, it doesn't really matter.
Definitely. And I think to support your guys' statements, okay, now I see why you're saying attention.
Mm.
Right. I noticed here in South Africa, what sells the most in the media, if you want to be a content creator and you actually want people's attention, you really have to sell what you call this. You have to focus your content around drama.
Yeah,
And the
Exactly.
biggest example is Ghost Luby again.
yeah, yeah.
Because his content, it's always something with him. It's never really something calm,
The word.
subtle.
Bigger
It's always
strange beta and essay, bro.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's always drama, bro.
yeah.
Well, if it's not someone fainting, he's buying a new car. It's all these things, and the people who actually make it here are people who are always involved in some sort of controversy or something.
The word.
Like even right now, the people who are trending the most are the people whose lives right now are in shambles because why they're getting cancelled.
Word.
Cancel media
okay.
is, but we'll get into that
Yeah, we'll
one.
get into that one.
Yeah.
That's jaha, man. Okay. Second question: would you say influencers are still relatable, or have they become too curated or out of touch?
Definitely out of touch.
Okay.
And I think sometimes because when you start following someone, right, and I don't have a specific example,
Mhm.
right, but sometimes you'll see someone who's starting off, humble from the classy, and they're relatable, right, and they still have, you follow them, you find them, they still
Yeah.
maybe go 10K, 20K, they're not making that much money yet, and then they kick off and they actually become an influencer and their lifestyle changes. So it feels as if now they're out of touch because why? They're not relatable anymore. They're no longer in the Kasi. They're no longer in Alex or whatnot. They're where now? They're in Santon. So it feels as if they're no longer relatable and they're out of touch because why? The content they're producing is not something their followers can relate to anymore. Right? So it's that. I think that's what you might call this makes influencers more out of touch nowadays because they actually don't know what's happening in their followers or most people's lives anymore,
Word.
you know?
Type below.
To argue against that,
Mm.
I think being relatable is what
Mhm.
makes someone more influential. And to make examples, I remember when in like 2022, 2023, when we had the trend of La Tweezies and wearing a certain. That's when you had artists like Brother Cooper, you had artists like Kill Brady. That's when those artists started to pop off. Now people are more into dance content.
Okay.
Majority of South Africa's watchers of content or consumers of content are into dance. That's where you get stars like Peanuts, you get stars like Iconic Bree, you get stars like, those are people that pop off because they are with the times that are moving now. If someone came up and is like, yo, guys, remember when we were at Tweezies? Let's go back. No one is going to do that. They look at what the world is into right now. And if relativity is there and you are with the times, that's where you get superstars that are moving up. And, if you tried to move in dance content in 2022, you wouldn't have moved that much. And if you tried to bring the Tweezies from the past into 2026, you wouldn't, So I think these superstars are born from following what South Africa's content consumers are really into. Next is going to be something else, and you get superstars that have that as their niche, and then those are the people that are going to really pop off.
I think I agree with both of you, and I really think that as content creators develop and leave the hood,
Yeah.
right, they start to become relatable to each other. not to the people, right? Because now they're living that lifestyle, and I don't blame them. Because now they're living that lifestyle. You know, they're no longer trying to relate to me who's beginning or who's trying to do this thing. Yeah, because like they have everything. So I don't blame them. You know, it's not a bad thing because you're at a different stage of your life. It's like that allegory I made past in the past episodes that you see when a rapper makes his first album or song and it kicks off like big time, his second album or third album won't be the same as that album because it doesn't mean he doesn't have the same passion he had to begin with. It means he's in a different stage of his life, right? He has more money now. He lives in a different environment. He relates to a different community, a different society. So I feel like it's that type of thing. But I do feel like sometimes you have to be relatable towards the people because you started with the people and the people started with you and they pushed you to this journey. So you actually have to keep up with that momentum.
I mean, your lifestyle changing isn't really an excuse for you not to
forget your roots.
Or in a sense, not be able to understand other people's reality because obviously reality is what you make of it. It's whatever your perspective is on it. And okay, there's a nuance to this, right? And I don't feel like explaining it right now, but I feel as if with the rich people and celebrities and influencers, we can't really expect them to understand the people or majority of the people who are living under certain conditions or realities. But to an extent, I feel like if you come from the hood, you should be able to understand. Even when you say something, you should be able to understand. Because it's like nowadays, influencers woke up, especially in America. I see. There was a story about this woman who entered a shop, right? Bakery. She had like a few thousand followers. She's not even an influencer. She's a micro influencer, right? She's not that known, but like she has a couple, a couple hundred followers. She entered a shop. She ordered food, right? She ordered a bunch of food, but she didn't have the money to pay for it. And her excuse was, "Me being here is already enough because why? I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna rate your food." Exactly. That is so out of touch. I feel like they're losing touch of reality and how life actually is.
I think
I feel like
out of touch is losing your morals.
It's big. Or in a sense, like your vision is so blurred to what other people are experiencing in life, and I feel like your lifestyle changing will never be an excuse for you not to be able to understand the people you grew up with or the people who are following you. You know.
Bigger than life answer from Andani, eh? Last question for the first segment. Do you think people want authenticity or they just want you to say something, but they just want you to say, or they just want to say something that will reward perfection?
Reward perfection.
Yeah. Like, do they want you to be authentic or do they want you to lean towards being perfect like people?
With the media, I think that's a huge problem right now. Is that people don't view us as human anymore. Once you start content creation, everything you do must be perfect. You can't make a mistake. Otherwise, one mistake and you cooked. You're going to get judged.
Forget that you people.
Yeah, they forget that, influencers and content creators are people too. They are bound to make mistakes, and I think part of being human is being able to make mistakes and grow from it, right? But then people aren't, they're always looking for you to be aesthetic, and that's what's gonna give you numbers when you push a certain facade, But once you actually show your authentic self, it depends on the consumers. I feel like some people actually want you to be authentic and raw, and then some people just want aesthetics out of you. So it depends on who's consuming your content.
But then, would you blame them for wanting you to be a certain kind of person? I'll make an example.
Yeah.
I'm an influencer and I'm pushing the wrong kind of content. I'm always vlogging in clubs, I'm always smoking, drinking, I'm living the fast life.
Yeah.
That's not a good life to push. But then to other people, that's not a good life to push.
On your perspective.
But then to other people, it's okay, subjectively.
It's generally
it's not a good life to push.
It's generally not a good life to push.
But when you take into account the amount of influence that you have, people are going to lean towards the kind of things that you bring out to them.
Yeah.
You know, if you watch your favorite influencer drinking lean, and yes, you don't like lean, your favorite rapper drinks it.
Mhm.
If you see someone drinking lean, you're gonna want to start drinking lean. You know, there are people that don't even enjoy it, but because they saw some influencer drinking lean, they're
Yeah.
gonna want to do it. So there are people that genuinely push the wrong kind of lifestyle. And I don't think it's wrong for you. Maybe it's wrong for you to expect to be, it's maybe wrong for you to expect them to be a perfect person, you know. But to some degree, you need to understand that if you're going to be an influencer, you should understand the impact that you put out to other people. And if you're going to push a fast lifestyle that people are not going to grow from, then it's wrong.
I think you're leaning towards with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, but then, like,
I mean,
we
sure.
talked about, your question was,
No, I think with what you were saying in general, that
That-
you know, they they are misleading, you know, teens or stuff into drinking lean, doing this stuff. That's what I'm saying. We don't expect from my perspective, I wouldn't expect someone to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Be as authentic as you are. But know that in that position that you are, you influence so many people. Hence, I'm saying with great power comes great responsibility. You know, like I don't want to be in that social media phase of being that big tycoon on social media, you know, have that amount of followers. Because I know that when I'm in that position, any little mistake I might do morally, right, is now going to be seen by my younger brother and his friends. And then now they're going to behave like that because it was okay for me to do that because I didn't face any mistakes, any remark, anything. You get
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? So they can behave like that because I behave like that. So I don't want to have that type of position in life. You
Yeah.
understand? So with what I'm with this type of question, for me, with great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility.
Okay, I get you guys now, but I feel like with the question, right? Do people want you to be authentic or do they want you to be perfect?
Perfect.
Right? I understand your guys' points of views, but I want to say this. If you want someone to be authentic and to be raw, then whatever they give you, you should be able to accept it. I know once you're an influencer and you have a lot of followers,
Ethical
you have
morality,
to
yeah.
you have to be careful of what you post and what you present to people. But if people actually say they want you to be authentic, then it shouldn't be a problem for you to be authentic, right?
Okay.
Because now then we were actually saying that we want people to be perfect.
Okay, I hear you. It
Yeah.
comes. It comes with the.
It comes
With like this type of example. Like,
Yeah.
Let's say Mpilo here, right?
Mm.
He's 500K followers.
Yeah.
Let's say on Instagram. He has the same 499.
Yeah.
He's pushing, right?
Yeah.
And then Mpilo here, he's himself, bro. He
Yeah.
drinks. He does whatever he wants to do. He drinks. He doesn't actually drink. And then we have Andani out here who doesn't drink in the public eye, but he hosts house parties, bro. He's doing crazy stuff with the hands and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's disclosing it to the public, right? So now from a exterior perspective, right? From an
Yeah.
outside perspective, I don't know both of y'all's life, right? But I reckon that nah, man, Mpilo is not right. He's not a good person, right? I prefer Andani, man, because Andani, you know, he
lives
does
his
it.
life
Yeah,
behind closed doors.
he's doing right stuff. Not because I don't see that closed door stuff. I just be saying Andani is actually a good role model for my little brother. He's a good role model for me. I wanna be like Andani, but Pilo, he's promoting a life that's too much. Like, yo, bro, this nigga's he's doing A, B, and C. But then
I feel like Andani is only doing that because he
Exactly.
wants people to perceive him a certain way.
Exactly. So,
right?
so I get you. It's unfair to say that we want authenticity
Yeah.
when we don't know when we don't want what it comes with.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
I mean, it is gonna affect people.
Yeah.
Right? It is gonna affect people. But I think even when you enter social media, you also have a personal responsibility to be wary of the content you're gonna consume and the things you're gonna partake in. I get that you're gonna find people that you like content creators that you want to engage with and actually follow their content, but understand that they're human.
Yeah.
They're going to do things that aren't socially acceptable,
Sir.
right? And I feel as if, you see, with me, when I create my content, I really don't care what my fans are going to think, you know.
Because you're being yourself.
Yeah, people's perception of me will never be my responsibility to live up to. I always say that, right? So I think if you're gonna consume my content, yeah, you should understand that there should be a caution, vele gore, you know, whatever I do here, don't do it. It might not work for you, right? It might not work for you. Like you said, you know, I might do something irresponsible. I might go take drugs, and I won't get in trouble. I won't die. I won't get hurt. But as soon as one of my fans, they go and do the same thing I did, they might get affected and get impacted negatively. You get what I'm saying?
So yeah, man, it's at both
like,
ends of the stick, man. you
yeah.
know, yeah. So that was our first segment. You know, firebomb. You know, all of that stuff. Please come back for the second segment. It's gonna be even more hectic.
On the Triple M's show.
We're back again. The second segment.
Aye.
We'll cancel you.
Act civilized. Come on, be classy.
Cancel you.
Be classy.
And that brings us into our new segment, cancel culture and sensitivity. Do you think cancel culture holds people accountable, or does it just punish people without giving them room to grow?
Do I think cancel culture?
Um,
Come on, he just said it.
Give me a
He just said it.
Okay, well,
Repeat your question.
do you think cancel culture holds people accountable, or does it just punish people without giving them room to grow? So do you think cancel culture holds people accountable, or does it do the opposite, basically?
I think it holds people accountable.
Okay.
To some degree, you can argue that cancel culture is not a good thing because, like, part of the question, it doesn't really give people a room to grow since you're not allowed to make mistakes. Otherwise, you're going to be
Cancelled.
flagged.
Mhm.
But I also think that it holds people accountable because if it went for cancel culture, people would just blatantly put wrong perspectives out there and, you know, they'd be pushing wrong initiatives. I remember like last year, November, December, when the whole GBV thing was a big topic.
Yeah.
Do you remember when like
Green flag.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it.
Okay.
Look what I mean by it's a good thing. I mean remember when the whole act, the whole movement was like a big thing in South Africa. People were canceling victimizers of women and they were brought to light for the bad things that they were doing.
Sorry.
I feel that more people would not partake in GBV because they knew that South Africa was so serious about embarrassing you and making you seen by the public eye in any case that you do something like that. You know? So I think it's a bit of both, but I lean more towards holding people accountable.
I think that's extreme though. GBV.
Before you start, can you just talk about how quick you ate that pizza? That was not civilized.
That was
Hey, you
not.
messed it up.
That was not right.
You messed it up, yeah.
On
That pizza.
on set. Yeah, now you can begin.
I lost my chain of thought because of it. But anyway, I think personally, cancel culture does punish people without giving them room to grow. Especially because nowadays everyone on social media thinks they're infallible beings and they can do no wrong, you know? And I think now with being a creator and having to always trying to seem a certain way and walk on eggshells just so that you can fully express yourself, it's very, I don't know, it strips you of being human, right? You're not allowed to make mistakes because one mistake, people are going to cancel you and you're going to lose the one thing that brings food on the table at home. And I feel like cancel culture is taking that away from people. It's not allowing people to be human because why? One mistake that is minor that people can go from. And I'm not even talking about something extreme like GBV, someone, you know, raping someone. Like that's not an example. A pedophile is. I don't think in my eyes a pedophile is not redeemable. They can get cancelled and it's fine. But punishing someone for saying something minor, like maybe bullying someone. I feel like bullying, people can learn from that.
Alright.
You know, a lot of people have gotten cancelled for bullying other people on social media, but I feel like they can grow from that. You know, yes, cancel them for that time being, but don't now not give them space to grow. I feel like there should be a new way of holding people accountable without completely erasing them from, you know, social media.
So would you argue that cancel culture should be removed completely? Because to some extent it's very helpful.
It is,
Okay,
but I feel like there should
answer.
be a new way of approaching the situation.
Let me answer the question.
Yeah.
We like the concept of cancel culture in the terms of we canceling people with the wrong derivatives and perspectives, right?
Definitely.
But at the same time, we don't like the evolution of cancel culture because it's gotten worse, worse, and worse. You can't express yourself. You can't have an exterior opinion towards something because you get cancelled. I mean, we've had the same similar thing happen on set where we didn't even put out the video where
Yeah, I remember.
an individual did not want to say something because he was fearing of being
Yeah.
cancelled, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like how it has taken the freedom of speech, but I like that it has cancelled certain characters.
Yeah.
Because we do need to cancel certain characters in society.
Yeah.
And then maybe they can go through some rebirth. You know, some people become uncancelable. You know, they find their way. It's a tough process from what I've seen on social media.
Yeah.
But I do like the concept of it. But I don't like how it's taking the freedom of speech. Like, I can't be afraid to share a different perspective on an issue because I'm scared of being cancelled. Then we're not being authentic with ourselves and with people. So,
Exactly. Everyone has their own different opinion,
Mm.
and it's completely normal for someone to have an opinion I won't agree with.
Mhm.
And I find it like, let's say we're arguing and you say something that I don't agree with, and completely you are wrong, Veli. You are completely wrong, and if you said it in public, you definitely get cancelled, right? But I feel like it's wrong for us to cancel people on things that they can actually grow from. And I mean it in a sense of when someone does something and we don't agree with it, that is not the time to cancel them. That is the time to educate them
Yeah.
and teach them, no, this is how you're supposed to go about this. This is the wrong perspective. This is not socially acceptable. It's not now the time for us to, you know, ostracize people and, you know, cancel them and wipe them off existence. What are we promoting? Because I feel like if cancel culture does not give people room to grow, then people are not going to change
And then for
their
president.
perspectives.
And then
They're
for
not going to change their mindsets because why? We didn't give them the platform. We didn't give them the space to grow, right? So now you've just removed them from the internet shop, but behind closed doors, they still think that way. It's not changing anything,
Time.
right? Because most people don't even have social media and they have those views. They have that way of thinking. And if they were to come on social media, they'd get cancelled. But since they're not, behind closed doors, they're cancelable, right? And it's a normal thing. It means it's not even something social media is influencing. It's something that is human. It happens. You know, it happens.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then can I pose this question
Sure.
while we're on this topic?
Yeah.
We can all agree that there are certain things that if you put out on social media and you are cancelled, that's the way it should be.
Yes.
You know.
Hence I'm saying really the extremes.
Okay, but then look here. Would you argue, because there are certain things that society can collectively agree you can be cancelled for,
Yeah.
but then what if you look at it from the perspective of you also not giving that person room to grow? Who's the judge of, or how far can we go until we've decided that this person should be cancelled or this person is just young and still should have the opportunity to grow? Because society's made themselves the judge of the extent to which someone can say something.
God.
Yes, but then where can we draw the line between being cancelled and being given the opportunity to grow.
That's what I'm saying about what you call this. Obviously, some people are young on the internet. They're going to say things and they're going to get cancelled for them, right? But you can't be 40, an adult, and tell me you don't know your difference between right or wrong. And there are extremes where it's like this person, even though they can grow from it, would I don't think they should be on the internet like a pedophile.
Okay, I get your perspective, right? With me, um, when you cancel someone for bullying and when you cancel someone for misogyny, right? You would rate that misogyny is way worse. It's a cancelable offense than bullying, right?
In an
In a human,
objective
yeah, an objective
perspective.
perspective, right? But in me, they both the same, right? Because I am a child of God, right? And the way I view things is that the sin is the same to me, whatever wrong, even though there's extreme like raping, and then we have a liar, we have someone who's corrupt. To me it's the same, right? But there should be consequences. In the Bible it says you reap what you sow, right? There should be consequences for both people, right? In me there should be consequences, that this person goes to jail, this person gets cancelled, this person does what. There should be consequences. But at the same time, I know that I am not the judge, right, to say that um, this person is deemed a rapist for the rest of their life, right? Um, to me,
They're always going to be a
Hold on.
rapist. They won't
Hold
change
on.
anything.
Hold on.
wait, to deem that they're the rapist for the rest of their life, that I should view them in that manner. They will be probably a rapist for the rest of their life because they have, raped, right?
Mhm.
But in my perspective, I
Yeah.
cannot view that person like that because I am a Christian, right?
Okay.
I allude myself to the way people think. I'd like to think the way Christ thinks, right? So I do. At the same time, I can reckon that this person has changed, right? I can't be like, hey, this person has definitely changed because I don't know. But I must have hope that this person has changed. I must have hope in humanity because God had hope for us. So I think that's how I perceive it as a Christian. But there are some people like Andani who are very ethically principled, right? Who say this is very wrong and this is wrong, right? Both will face consequences, but the very wrong person is going to be deemed very wrong for the entirety of their life because they did a very wrong thing, which is fair in human terms. It's fair in mundane terms. But to me, it's not fair because I don't want to think like that, even though I do think like that because I am a human being.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I perceive
So then,
it.
would you argue that they should suffer the same fate?
Um,
Someone has sexually offended someone, and someone else said
Bullied.
something bad about someone on the
You
internet.
see,
If the sin is seen the same in your eyes, would you argue that they should suffer the
Yeah.
same fate?
I cannot say that, right? But what I can say is that I should be able to give them the same faith in them being redeemable. Do you
okay.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I cannot say that they should suffer the same fate. I cannot.
Yeah.
Right? But I can say that I should give them enough faith for them to be better men.
Okay.
I think that's what I can finish it off.
I
with.
get your perspective, but from a social perspective,
It's messed up. It's messed up.
yeah, you can't weigh sin the same, right? I feel
Word.
like if someone was caught bullying someone else and they get cancelled, I feel like it should be temporary. Give them room to grow. They should get some time out from social media and their views can be low and people can say whatever they want on their platform when they keep on posting. I feel like that's sharp, right? And then some point in time we have to forgive that person. But I'm also not gonna put a time frame on people's healing, right? If the people who are affected don't want to forgive that person, it's sharp. But I feel like obviously at some point we have to move on from it.
I don't know if there's a fine line. I feel that you can argue both ends, but I don't know if there's a fine line to which you can say this is where you're overstepping, you know? Or
I think it's when you fear that you can disagree with someone. I mean, with the conversation that we just had preview to this question, right? Someone in this seat could fear what I've just said because what I've just said is socially cancelable, right? So that
Definitely.
I do have the same
Definitely.
hope for a rapist and a bully to change. I do have that hope, right? So if someone does fear that authenticity in themselves to say those words, it becomes overly sensitive. It becomes a fear of being cancelled. That's how I can.
And
view
that's
it.
how I feel about social media these days. The internet is so sensitive. It is so sensitive. And I think what's pushing this or increasing the sensitivity is woke culture. I'm all up for being woke, but I feel like at some point you do have to understand that not everyone is gonna be woke. And I feel like if you see a comment or a perspective that someone has and you don't agree with it and you are the one that's correct, I feel like sharp, put your opinion in front and let the people decide. Don't now rush to cancel someone because they think differently from how you think, right? Woke culture is growing and I really love that. But I feel like also not everyone's gonna be woke. And you're not woke enough for me if you can't put yourself in other people's perspectives. If you can't actually see that not everyone will have the same mindsets and
As you,
perspectives
yeah.
as you.
Because then we just all become.
That's why I'm
normal.
saying
Yeah.
cancel culture is not actually doing what it's supposed to do because it's not educating people. We're so quick to
Point
be
fingers.
sensitive
Yeah.
about certain things that people have said instead of taking the time to actually educate those people,
Real.
right?
Okay,
So
so could you educate the rapist?
definitely, if they don't want to change, that's up to them. But educate them, but they should still face the consequences. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they should still get educated on why grape. Even though I feel like why would you ever have to explain
Okay,
that?
no, that is we're on the same page.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
all
definitely,
agree
definitely.
that it's wrong.
Yeah.
But then you argue that woke culture is about stepping into other people's perspectives and looking at things from other people's eyes.
I'm saying woke culture doesn't do that.
Yeah, but
Okay, but
you
you're
would
saying-
you would like it to do that.
I mean, the reason why I even spoke about being woke or woke culture is because woke people, in my perspective, are people that are socially aware. Right?
We understand that, but
Yes.
would you like for people to step in Belo's shoes and view what made
Definitely.
Belo do that?
Definitely.
So why can't you do that with
yeah,
a
with
rapist?
grapists, dog.
Put myself in a graper's perspective.
No, I'm not saying.
Yeah, in fact, yeah.
But look here. I'm not saying put yourself in the perspective because to no extent should that be acceptable.
Yes.
But look what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
It's
you
nowhere
should-
near acceptable.
look,
Yes.
it's nowhere near acceptable.
Yeah.
It's not something that you should promote, and it's not
Yes.
something that should be put behind you
Or
you know?
defend. Or defend.
Yes,
Yes.
we can all agree that it's wrong. It's a disgusting act. It's inhumane. We're on the same page about that. But your argument was that you'd like people to move into not being one-sided in terms of their perspective. They
Yeah.
should be able to step into other people's shoes and stop looking at just what they did, but why they did it.
Exactly.
You know.
That's
But
what I
then
like to do.
look,
It's
But
like
then look.
hold on. Let
here.
him finish.
Look here.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you'd like them to move into being able to step into other people's shoes.
Yeah.
But then why do you block the opportunity of perspective from a rapist?
I don't.
Yeah,
What I'm-
but then you said that those are people that are objectively
Listen-
worthy of being cancelled.
Listen, yes.
But then, if your argument is that I want to be able to look at other people and step into their perspective, but I'm a judge and you've raped, you've done this, it's an unforgivable sin, so you are completely blocked from. I know you're going to give them the opportunity to be educated, but why do they not have the same opportunity to be looked at as a person that can be forgiven, as someone that you feel that did not commit a sin as big as rape?
Okay.
It's like you're drawing a line and you're telling people that I'm only going to forgive and educate you if I feel that what you did is not as bad as this.
That's not what I was saying.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay. First, I want us to start off with the question. It said, it spoke about being socially aware and
overly
are we
sensitive.
overly sensitive, right? That's what I want us to understand. It's about being sensitive, right? It means there are certain things that are actually going to hit us. There are certain things where we're going to be like, okay, we're going to cancel you. We're going to make sure that when you will never say anything and we, give you the platform to speak and actually not be judged. You're always going to be judged, right? But there are things that I feel as if it's too much. You can't cancel people for everything. There are certain things where there is an exception. Like grape.
Okay,
or
wait.
whatnot. I'm not done.
I get what
Let
you're
him
saying,
finish, dog.
but
Let
like
him
you're going back. We want you to get to the point of where we're talking about the woke mentality because it does link to what we are talking about. And he said, can you gather yourself into that perspective of the rapist, right? Can you gather into his past experiences, his bad childhood?
I was getting there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, me personally, I love to psychoanalyze people, right? Whenever someone does something bad to me, I want to know why. I really don't care what they did. I really want to know why they did it, right? And with my friends, I like to do this, right? When my friend does something, I usually link it to what I know about them and their childhood and where that might have stemmed from and what that action is rooted in, right? And that's the same way I think we should go about rapists, right? But that's what prison is for. It's rehab. They're going
True.
to get the help that they need in order for for them to be redeemable. Even though they're always going to be a predator. We're always gonna mark them and flag them as a predator, right? But they if they go to prison and they face the consequences,
Go through
they're,
rehabilitation.
they're going to get therapy and a psychologist to figure out why this person is this way, right? I am a person that believes in
Rehabilitation.
yes, that, and I also believe that we're all a product of our environment and wherever we come from, right? So I don't think we are all inherently evil. I just feel as if it's certain things that we went towards. Some people went towards not to cross boundaries. That this is right, this is wrong. Personally, we all of us sitting here, we have sisters. We have women we love, and we want to protect them, and we know that we would never want to do that to another woman, right? But in a great perspective, they didn't grow up the way we did. They didn't face the same things. So obviously, on a psychological factor, these people, we can't put them in the same wing as us, right? But I think obviously they can be redeemed, but I can't talk for society.
Okay.
You
Now,
can't put a time frame
I
on
think
people's
you've
healing.
answered the question, and
Yeah.
I love the fact that you have alluded to being to psychoanalyze people.
Yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
it makes it easy to forgive someone, right? When they don't excuse themselves, but you can excuse themselves
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
for reasons that A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next question because this one was hectic. Okay. Do you think people online are genuinely offended or some just looking for a moment to attack? Or some are just looking for a moment to attack?
They definitely are looking for a moment to attack. I feel like some people ride on waves that they aren't
Yeah.
actually,
Triggered when they're not triggered.
yeah. And I think I saw this. Don't wanna, oh, actually, I will say this. I don't care. So, remember when the Purple Gang,
Yeah.
I'm part of the Purple Gang too, right? When all that was happening, and I think her name is pronounced Reinkuna. She said
Yeah,
something
yeah,
about people
right.
being performative, right? And we saw this. Everyone was angry. We were all angry. People were putting up purple profile pictures, sharp. And I love that movement. And I remember when people cancelled Reinkuna for saying people are being
was performative, right?
right? And then I felt like definitely she said it too early, but I understood her to a certain extent. But she said it too
The
early.
timing was-
because not even, I think a month or two after that, we saw the people's true colors. All the people that were angry on comment sections and whatnot, canceling her, are the very same people that were belittling each other, participating in trends that put other humans down. And that's where I saw
Put
that
females in general down.
exactly that you guys weren't actually angry. You were just jumping
just
on a wave
riding
for the
because someone
for the
else
sake
said
of
it,
it.
so we were
Exactly.
wave,
Right?
so
They were
wave.
being performative. Right?
Right.
So I feel like some people aren't actually angry enough. They aren't angry at all. This entire purple gang was created as a movement to
Empower and create awareness.
create awareness about femicide. But some people were just, even though I feel as if it's a good thing people participated, but I felt
The
like they went
motives were wrong.
Yeah, I don't feel like their intentions were pure or
Petrovic.
exactly. So that's my That's my perspective on that.
Do I feel that people online are genuinely offended or just looking for a moment to attack?
Yeah.
I agree with Andani. I think people are just looking for a moment to attack. He did cover the point of just riding the wave because everyone is following this wave. Now we're all going to. But I feel that people also, they're just looking for a moment to attack because a lot of people are also afraid of being wrong.
Okay.
You know, as society, we are people that are not like, we don't like to be wrong, especially if you stand very adamantly on a point, such as Rain Kuna stood about performative activism during the whole purple movement. I also feel that a lot of people are afraid to be corrected.
Yeah.
Because if everyone is on the team of I'm attacking, and it's the majority of people that are attacking people, you're not only going to follow them because everyone's doing it, but you're also going to follow them because you're afraid of being wrong. Because if the person that actually spoke about a certain topic and is being attacked, if you agree with them, you're going to be attacked collectively. You know, such as the people that were supporting Rain Kuna. While the movement, while her video came out, there were certain people that were supporting her. But when she became, what can I say, a social target, once people started attacking her and attacking her beliefs and trying to point out why she was wrong, there were people that are like, oh shoot, maybe she is wrong. Let me scurry along to the gang that's attacking her so that, you know, I don't seem like I was wrong and supporting the same motive. But like you said, a month later, when people's true colors actually started to, you know, show, and to some extent you could argue that she was right with what she said.
Yeah.
You know, then people are like, you know what, maybe she was making sense. And now you're going to move to the side that seems like it's wrong. You know, people don't like to think for themselves. You just want to seem right. So it's not only about wanting to follow the masses, which does form like a great part of that argument, but people are also afraid of being seen as wrong on the internet.
I think an important fact that Andani put through was timing, right? My dad always says, wait until the dust settles, right? So I'm learning it now. You know, sometimes you are politically, objectively, subjectively correct, like Rinkuna was, right? At that moment, she had the wisdom to see something so early, right? Before even, you know, people knew what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then she said it at the time where it was hot. The dust was you know, it was foggy, you understand? So I think people should, I'm talking to anyone at home, wait until the dust settles. You know, sometimes you're authentic with yourself and who you are and your points, but wait until the dust settles and then you come up with those very accurate points, and then people actually sympathize with what you have to say and understand where you're coming from. Once they also have the opportunity to see what's going on, if you get what I'm saying. Just don't do it, because then now you be attacked, and you know, it's not nice for someone to be attacked, even though you're correct, and it hurts even more when you're very correct, and then you're attacked. So everyone at home, wait until the dust is settled.
So then would you argue that, okay, so your argument is you should wait until the topic has in some form subsided, and then only then you can. So the truth should be timed. Is that what you're saying?
If you're in fear of being attacked.
No, sure. But then the argument you're putting forward is that the truth should be timed. If it's timed to people's convenience, would you still argue that it's the truth?
Okay, I'm not gonna answer that, but what I wanna say is that I think in society we have to understand that two truths can exist at once, even though they seem as if they're opposing each other. Because in the moment, she was right, and I don't remember correctly everything she said, but there were some points where people were arguing with her, and I was like, okay, in this way she was wrong, but she is right too, and you are right too, and you just don't understand that it's the timing. The issue is the timing. Yeah, well, because
it's still the truth.
Yeah, it's still the truth.
It's still the truth.
It just, at this point in time, it just didn't seem as the truth.
In the day and age of where we at now, especially with her being, I'm not sure, she's not that big, you know, in social media, right? I'm not sure of her page or what, but let's say she was not that big in social media, right? And she says that point, right? And she gets attacked to the point where she loses almost all of her following, right? And now and she has a lot of great impacts that she can make. Now she's been cancelled or ostracized for so long, and now she's demotivated to even make content. Now you get what I'm saying. So it can be, can be prevented with just timing.
You know what I love about Rain Kuna? She has a backbone. She didn't stop. Even when she did an apology video,
She was still adamant
stood
on her point.
She still stood on what she said, and I could tell that she actually clocked that they're not gonna see it now, but later they will.
So we should go out for dinner, Miss Rain Kuna. Yeah, because see,
Next question.
jokes. Continue. continue. Are you good with your point, or should I move to the last question?
Move on.
Okay, our last question. If someone makes a mistake online, what should accountability actually look like?
Like I said, society should open their minds to educating people, right? Hold them accountable, sure, but open room up and space for them to grow. Give them the platform to grow by teaching them, right? Educate them on why they were wrong. I feel like many of us are open to being taught, right? I would hate to say something online and instead of being taught and educated on why I'm wrong, people just cancel me, right? That's just how I feel. I feel like people should open that platform up.
Okay, but the question is, what should accountability look like? What do you expect from them?
That's what I just said. Hold the people accountable, but also educate them.
No, you're talking from the perspective of
society.
The people,
yeah,
yes.
not talking
what
about
do you expect from the person
flopped.
that made the mistake online?
What was the question, man?
What do you think accountability should look like
From a person that makes a mistake online.
Yeah. Okay. Give us that perspective, because you've given us the perspective of the people on their takeoff.
I feel like you should also be open to hearing people out and actually learning. Don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn. Open your ears and hear what people have to say and actually learn and grow from it.
No, it's because you can also understand why. If you've made the mistake, it's because you obviously thought you were right at the point. But if you see it as a mistake, you should also look into why people said that. Why people are telling you that what you said was wrong. Because if all you want to do is put your points out and you are never wrong, then you're not open to being educated. So also be open-minded and understand the fact that you don't know everything. And me alone, as much as I may know, if 10 people put an argument together, they, to some extent, will have a better, or stronger point than me. That's not always the case.
Yeah.
But you should always be, look here.
I'm still capable of arguing.
Yes, no, 100%.
No,
100%.
it's
If
just
you are
like,
well
no, I know
educated,
it's a joke.
if you're well educated on your points,
we're not taking those jokes, bro.
If you're well educated on your point, then you can obviously drive it forward and adamantly, even though you're arguing against a lot of people.
And so
but
I was
it's just
saying,
an example.
two
You
truths
should be
can exist at
open.
once,
You should
yeah.
be open to correction.
Definitely.
Maybe you may not always be looking into being corrected, because I know I'm right.
Yeah.
But you should be open to what these other people are saying. Going back to the example of Renkuna. She knew she was right, but she was open to the parts of her argument that people were persecuting.
Yeah.
And she apologized for the points that may have offended people. Although she knew she was right, she didn't take back what she said, and she didn't let that get in the way of apologizing to the people that she may have offended.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes you don't always have to be the smartest in the room. And I think the smartest people are the ones that keep quiet and actually learn from other people. Like, they act like the dumbest in the room, but they're actually taking in what everyone is saying, even though they have more to offer. But you don't always have to, be the smartest in the room. Sometimes just take the time to learn from other people.
Word. Like the gentleman said, learning makes you grow. You learn more, you grow as an individual. Right. Even though, even if you're right, you'll learn the effects of timing what you said, right? You'll learn something, even though you're right. You'll learn something. So learn, as in being accountable, it means to learn and to understand. You understand? So, what are your last remarks, gentlemen? Your last 2 cents? Speaking with Yumpilo. You can look at the camera, bro. Raise up the camera there.
6, 7.
I was gonna do something, but because you told me to, I'm not gonna. Just because you told
Okay,
me
you
to.
don't have to. You don't have to.
Guys, don't be stubborn. Even if you know you're right, be willing to understand why other people may think you're wrong. Time your truths. Look at things objectively. Psychoanalyze and follow me on Instagram.
It's alright. I think I've said enough today.
You said more
But
than enough.
if I had to leave some words of encouragement, I would say what I always say, right? People's perception of you is not your responsibility to live up to. Live the way you want to live, be authentic, and to be cringe is to be free.
Okay. My last 2 cents of the
live.
show is Miss Ray. Can link up one of these days.
Guys, thank you for tuning in for another episode.
Miss Ray. Our subscription is down below. The YouTube.
Right over here. Right over here.
And Miss Ray, here's my heart.
Card. Production card.